we're going to do an if. If he pulls his arm out, then I can switch to omoplata, right? So Matt pulls his arm out. Pull it out. Good. If nothing else changes, but that arm disappears, I actually am set up already for a good omoplata. And the way I'm going to have us enter the omoplata from here, which is a shoulder attack on this arm here, that I do with my legs, is get a couple of grips. So those grips are, I'm going to reach across my body. So I actually reach across my body to hold his wrist. Even though this hand's right here, that would be nice and easy. I have another job for this hand, and that's to hold his pant leg. So I'm going to come for the wrist and the pant leg. Now, technically in jiu-jitsu competition, you're not allowed to put your forefingers inside the pant leg. So get some other grip on the pants here. One thing I do is like wrap the material up like this for what they call a pistol grip. Without putting my fingers inside, I just make a pistol grip and then I hold on to it. So that's where that's an option here. Okay. And now, with my grips established, that's sort of phase one on the omoplata from here. Phase two is going to be getting my feet over here. And to do that, I'm going to bring my knees to my chest, my butt's going to rock up, and then I'm going to turn 90 and I'm going to kick my legs down this way. So it's this. Like that. You notice my legs are still straight, because if I throw down nice, straight, heavy legs, it really is going to nail his shoulder to the floor. And that's my goal. I'd like him to have his shoulder on the floor. When I kick down, I'm going to say one thing that I think is going to help you guys, which is don't aim for the armpit. Even though I did tell you to put the shoulder on the ground, you're going to think maybe aiming for the shoulder is the move. I'll actually have more leverage at the end of the lever, which will be at the elbow. So this is a detail that's really actually going to be very helpful. So now you can have some posture here. And when I rock back and I go through the elbow, I easily knock him down. Again, with a big, long, straight, dead leg. Now I'm going to take my arm, throw it over his back, and I'm going to switch the direction of my feet. I'm going to point them behind myself. And he's laying here belly down. He's in a Kimura, essentially, if you remember the Kimura. Yeah. But this, I can still hold his hand here. I don't need to if I can lay my body over it, but I just hold on to it right till the end. And the finish is going to be a matter of me seesawing from my hip to my knee. And the fulcrum that I'm going over to do that seesawing is his arm. So I go this way. You got to tap way before your knee hits the ground. But that should be what my intention is. Yeah, is that I'm trying to go from my hip on this seesaw to my knee. So if I start from the armbar, 1, 2, 3 to get my grips. Phase one. Phase two, I'm going to turn. 1, 2. If he pulls it out, they had the same phases. My grips, 1, 2. And then I'm going to turn. So really, we kind of have that grips phase and the turning phase. Rock back, aim for the elbow. That'll knock everybody down. My arm goes over his waist, that's so he doesn't do any somersaults or anything crazy. And I just have to get my feet both aimed this way. And now, if flexibility comes up here, and it may, then I will cover his hand while I help myself. You just help yourself with your hand. And then from here, it's the seesaw. Good. From my hip to my knee. One thing that can happen when you're transitioning from the armbar to the omoplata is I set everything up properly and I come in here, but he pulls his arm out, but his arm is not behind my legs, his front and back. It's not behind my legs, it's like either on me or sort of here, okay? It's not impossible still to hit the omoplata, and there's a most efficient way to get his arm back where I want it. That most efficient way is to swim under it with the south hand, and then lift my hips, and then just put it where I want it, and now get my grips. If I got to here with the armbar and Greg pulled his arm out, this could be seen as, I have his shoulder, or it could be seen as he has my leg on his shoulder. If he drives through this way, Greg, and around, face me, yeah, he's now passing my guard. Go ahead. Yeah. If he pulls his arm out, you could see it as, okay, I have an omoplata opportunity, but you have to know, at the same time as I have an omoplata opportunity, if he cuts the corner, comes in, he might be passing my guard. Okay, and you're gonna have that. Even if I'm biting real good, he's gonna drive through the tunnel, come around the corner. Yeah. So to solve that problem, when he starts to drive through, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift the leg off of his head, and I'm gonna hope to recapture it inside of what will be diamond. Right? He's gonna come around here, so go ahead. And if I can take this off, I can get diamond back. He legitimately has a pass here. And it is a moment where it's going to come down to which guy moves better. But when he pulls this out, just remember, I have half of a triangle. I have an arm, now I need the head. So when he starts driving in, even if he gets kind of far, if I can kick my leg over his head, I will be back to having the triangle. This is going to be sort of a situation that comes up when I've otherwise set up a good triangle, 1, 2, 3, and I'm back away, and I start going for the triangle, I start applying pressure, and either he fights super hard to get posture upwards, yes, or, so go back down, or he drives forward into me, and instead of getting crushed, I raise my hips. So you drive forward. So I push my hips up so he doesn't get too close. And then sometimes he just postures up. But in either case, if his head comes up, the triangle is a next door neighbor to an armbar. So I'll show you what I mean. So we'll do that where you drive forward and my hips come up and I can just bring my leg over his head and I have the armbar right here. Setting up a triangle and I get all the way to the last part. I get all the way to here and either he drives forward and so I hip up. So I'm just changing his trajectory. Or he just walks his knees forward and then starts really fighting for posture here. When he postures up really high, I'm just going to bring my leg in front of his face. Now, I do not put the side of my leg on his face. That's a good way to give my partner a black eye because we're going to go bam. So don't do that. Just rotate your hips. See how I shot my butt out the side? We always want to clamp down for the armbar using the hamstring. So don't put your shin on him. Rotate your hips, and now you have control of the arm. I do everything right here, setting up the triangle, 1, 2, 3. I back up. I put my grip together, but he drives forward or postures up, yep. And now I'm going to hold onto his wrist and shoot my butt out and rotate a little bit. Rotate to catch him here. And I might finish this armbar here, or he might fall over.
Whoa, and then you got the armbar.
Both are okay. Yes, exactly. And this is just, we're going to connect for you the armbar to the triangle. So we've talked about if somebody's posturing when I was going for a triangle, I thought I'd go for a triangle, and he postures, that we can make this switch to an armbar. Now, one thing that's possible is that, now we're talking about savvy people. We're doing jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu people. So that's how he knew to posture in the first place, right? He knew posture might be defense possibly, and that's why he went up here. So he takes the elevator up, right? But when he realizes that I'm switching for the armbar, especially if I telegraph it in a way, like if I swing this leg a little too wide, he might duck. He's taking the elevator back down. Now I can't hit the armbar anymore. But guess what? I can hit the triangle again. So now I'm just going to hand myself my leg. So it may be that when I grab my leg to keep him down when he takes the elevator back down. When I grab my shin, it could be that this is the right thing to do, but not if there's less than 90 at my hips. I do want to have distance from him, so this will hold his head down just fine, holding my shin. I go for the triangle. I'm thinking triangle. He sees that. He takes the elevator up. I go to switch. He sees that coming. He takes the elevator down. I would say to keep him from taking the elevator again, I'm just going to grab my shin first. I can decide from here, is it the right time to finish, or is he maybe too close to me and I should back away first? And then I can put this all together. Posture is one of the things that really helps me get out of trouble in triangle land. So if I can get posture, a lot of times people turn away and they're trying to push the legs off and stuff like that. But this is an opportunity for him. Anytime the trapped arm is the forward shoulder as I look away, he can actually bring his leg on right here over my, yes. And we can put ourselves, into an omoplata position. So we're here in triangle again. Sometimes people who are fighting for posture also turn away. I'm trying to get out and leave. I've given him really my whole arm, including the shoulder, which means there's a shoulder attack available now. And he's going to do it by bringing the leg on this side of my shoulder, yes. Pushing me down here. And now we're in omoplata territory. And his finish is going to be the same as we ever did. Yes, omoplata. Go ahead. Very nice. Any version of trying to get away, but turning their back to you kind of, and leaving the arm that's trapped, giving you the shoulder. We just bring our leg right through the shoulder, knock them down, and we have that omoplata or the kimura with the legs. We have that available right there. If he gets up and turns his sort of back to me, I'm going to open the leg that's resting on his shoulder. I'm going to open this one. It's just a bit of a breakdancing moment. If I'm going to successfully turn my hips, I need a pendulum. So when he turns, so you posture and you turn, this is the pendulum that helps me spin. He postures up. It kind of started by me helping myself spin with this leg. For omoplata, one thing that can go wrong is that I don't actually, for some reason, I don't actually get the person's shoulder all the way to the floor. So everything was good, and I came up, but he keeps his balance. Keep your base under you with your knees. Now don't let me put your shoulder on the floor, okay? So, okay. This will happen sometimes when you go for an omoplata. And I call this an almost plata, right? Because I almost got his shoulder to the ground. My goal really would have been to get his shoulder to the ground, but especially when somebody maintains their foundation underneath themselves, meaning their knees, he might be able to push, kind of push back into me. And he's going to turn, and then he's going to be back in my guard. So he's trying to hit rewind on my move. So that's the problem I'm going to address here, and it's actually an opportunity for us to hit a triangle. I don't get him all the way down. He starts forcing his way back. Now to do that, he's got his hand on the floor. So the first thing that comes in is his head, which gives me this opportunity to cross diamond. And then I'm bringing, the reason my hips are coming up is so I can easily bring his arm across and start running, my errands. I have one here, and one here, if we go back to our triangle details. And then I back away, I cross this up, and I have a nice tight triangle here. That I set everything up right. Really, everything's going fine. This will be another case where she maintains her foundation, so I'll knock her over, but she'll still be on her knees. So I'll get to almost plata. This is a moment when she can think, how am I going to escape? Do I drive back into him, or am I going to do something else? The something else is she looks away, and she does a shoulder roll, just like we do as a warm-up, by putting this shoulder on the ground and goes ahead and rolls out. And what did she do? She unwound what I wound up. So she unwound her arm, and she's on the bottom possibly, like, yes, maybe I get on top now. But she's out of the immediate attack, the immediate shoulder attack, so she's lived to fight another battle. And the thing is, when she rolls, she opens up another opportunity for me if I'm aware that that's what she's doing and I have a ready plan. So that's what I'd like to give you today. So when I do this, and she rolls, go ahead. If we think about where she lands, if I can stay close enough to her, like with my hips, and just bring my legs over to here, I actually am in armbar territory. So we can switch this right to a regular armbar. Okay? This is a simplification of what could get very messy, but here's this armbar right after the roll. She rolls. I'm going to bring my hips closer, and then just both my legs are going to windshield wipe over into armbar.